You guys love the last baby run in Gen 2, so let's do another one. Today's the day that we figure out, would I be able to beat Pokemon Platinum with a team of only baby Pokemon? Gen 4 is the other main generation that added a ton of new baby Pokemon. We can actually get really wide variety of types for once. But like you saw in the Gen 2 run, baby Pokemon themselves are very weak. We're gonna need some creative strategies and smart move choice to craft a great team out of them. Like always, I'm writing this script as I go through with the challenge, so all of this part is being written before I've started. Everyone comment down below and guess if I can win or not. I'm pretty sure I can beat Cynthia, but I think there's going to be a lot of areas in the early to mid game that are going to be absolutely brutal. Let's explain the rules. In combat, I can only use baby Pokemon. I'll need other Pokemon to use HMs, but I won't be allowed to use any of those Pokemon in battle. No glitches or exploits, no items in battle, only Pokeballs, held items, and items outside of combat are allowed. Let's do this. So right off the bat, I use the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Turtwig with Bidoof so that we can do the entire run with it as a baby Pokemon. I picked Bidoof specifically because you can catch it before the first gym anyway, so it wouldn't give me an unfair advantage as the Pokemon is far from rare. Probably the least rare baby Pokemon in the entire franchise, in fact. I named mine Starks, see if you can guess the theme. Ours is hasty nature, more speed, less defense. That's a pretty terrible nature for us. Our ability is Poison Point, so sometimes when we get hit by a physical move, we poison the opponent. Not bad, but we have low defense, so it might not be all that useful. So Bidoof is pretty awful and can't even beat the first trainer without leveling up. It's a pretty similar Pokemon to Sunkern, so expect some difficulties. The first gym is Rock type though, so I should be good there, but we need to plan out when we get our next Pokemon. So while I grind up a few levels, check out this map I made in Photoshop. This is the in-game map with a bunch of layers of dots for the locations that I plan to catch a bunch of Pokemon that are either baby Pokemon or can be bred to make baby Pokemon. There are tons with this game, so that's why I thought a Photoshop map might be pretty useful. It seems like we can't get most of them until after the third gym, so the team might be small for a while. Anyway, before we can get to the Rock Gym, we have a rival fight, and both of his Pokemon resist grass, so we have no right to win this fight, but the AI was clearly taking it incredibly easy on me, because they almost only used Leer and Growl. I ended up building up 6 growths, learning Stun Spore, and taking them out easily. The Orberg Mine is a really great place to level up to lead up to the Rock Gym, since it's loaded with Geodudes that give decent experience and are double weak to grass moves. By the time we make it to the Rock Gym, we already have Mega Drain, so the battle is no problem at all. After how brutal this was back in the Pikachu and Abra challenges, it feels great to blast our way through with no problem. Breezing through doesn't last long though, because before we can get our next Pokemon, we have to beat Commander Mars, and she starts with Zubat, a Pokemon that double resists grass moves, so not only are we weak, but we're dealing 4 times less damage. Then she's got a Purugly after that. We're for sure going to need to grind a little bit. Worst part, the next Pokemon that we're getting is a Psychic type. If we could only have him before this fight, it'd be a lot easier. Finally, at level 25, with just a bit of paralysis luck, we managed to get our 6 growths and Mega Drain our way through the fight without too many issues. With that done, we can finally catch our second baby Pokemon, Chingling. It's a pretty weak Psychic type with a bit lower base stats than Pikachu, but it has Confusion and can learn Psychic by TM if we need to, so it's some type coverage. A bit of grinding on Josephus and we can try the Grass Gym. This is a weird fight. First is Josephus versus Turtwig, and my plan was to have Josephus use all his moves once so that he can use his super powerful Last Resort move to sweep through. But since Uproar lasts for so many turns, he ended up eventually fainting and I had to bring Starks out. Being a weak grass type, I thought I stood no chance, but I attempted anyway and took out Turtwig. Second was Cherrim, but it only has Magic Leaf, a really weak move. So I built up my 6 growths and took it down with Mega Drain and Absorb. Last was Roserade, a poison and grass type, so it double resists our moves. We paralyze each other fast, but that ended up completely saving me, since she just kept using Poison Sting, but I can't get poisoned. So I keep healing back up off of Mega Drains. It takes a long time, but we actually won. After that, we break into the Galactic Hideout to fight Commander Jupiter, but it's not close. Zubat is no problem, but Skuntank is dark and poison, so it makes very short work of both Starks and Josephus. We've got to grind. A few levels later and I changed my strategy. By using Starks to paralyze Skuntank first and a little bit of paralysis luck, I was able to take her to half health before Starks went down. Josephus was then able to take it out with a critical outrage for the win. On our way to the bike shop, Cynthia stopped us to give us an egg. I am shocked to my very core and simply have no idea as to what could possibly be within this egg. Everyone make your guesses in the description. I think I meant comments there. Guys, do you see why I've been doing Let's Play every day for the past 9 years straight? I'm better at improv comedy than this whole scripting crap. This is why I ad-lib all the time when I'm doing these voiceovers. My script sucks. The trainers in the Ghost Gym gave us a great opportunity to get a few more levels on Josephus before fighting Fantina herself. Since we can't get any more baby Pokemon until after we pass this city, I really don't want to get delayed here. Finally, it's Ghost Gym time. Josephus is quickly able to take care of Duskull in 2 hits. I'm happy I didn't get burnt. Mismagius confuses us instantly though, and our confusions aren't doing much. We bring her to half health, but she eats a berry and finishes us off. Starks also gets instantly confused, and being part poison type, doesn't last that long against Psybeams. I did get some really great hits in, and almost took her down at one point, but of course, she can use super potions in battle, and I can't. Grinding here isn't awful, but it's far from fast. We really need this grind because even if we're going to get crazy luck with paralysis and critical hits, we have a rival fight right after, so it's a lot more reliable for us to just get stronger and work from there. During the grind, the egg starts to hatch. Make your last guesses on what it'll be. It's still Togepi! Like in the Platinum Pikachu run, remember? What, did you think I'd do a gag or something? Togepi is pretty bad. Its ability is Hustle, so more attack and less accuracy. It's just not a great Pokemon though, so we're using it just to fill a slot on the team for now more than anything. I named it Anderson though, so just another hint towards that naming scheme. After a bit of solid luck, I take another shot at Fantina, but honestly, it doesn't really go much better. Sometimes Duskull burns us, so that's pretty much the end of the fight right there, and Mismagius confuses us, so it's pretty easy to lose the fight thanks to that. Considering I haven't even been able to get to Haunter, I really need more grinding. Ages later, and we get this run. Duskull nearly gets one shot, but it only hits a weak pursuit before we let her use a potion and finish her off. Mismagius is next, so I have Stark's Paralyzer fast, and we use Growth to power up. We hit ourselves in confusion from our Confuse Ray twice in a row, but finally hit Mega Drain to heal a bit of health. Thanks to fantastic paralysis luck, we actually take her out. Last is Haunter, so I paralyze her right away. Mega Drain is doing decent damage considering Haunter is part poison. We actually end up finishing her off without ever switching back to Josephus. With that done, we just have to beat our rival to get more Pokemon. It's not as hard as I anticipated though. We completely mopped the floor with his team. Time to catch something new. You can find Chauncey in Route 209. It's not a baby Pokemon, but we can breed it to get one. It's not a very good one, but we might need it. After failing to catch one for ages though, due to the horrible catch rate, I decided to just come back when I have Ultra Balls if I really need it. On Route 215 though, I managed to catch a hilariously unenthused looking Marill. I can't easily catch a Ditto in Platinum, so I just catch a male and a female Marill and put them in the daycare. Azurill is a terrible Pokemon, but at least I can learn some water moves. While we wait for that, I go and grab the Big Root, a held item that makes health-stealing moves like Mega Drain heal us for 30% more health. It's probably not a huge bonus considering we don't hit that hard, but I'm sure Starks can make decent use of it. The fighting gym went way smoother than expected. I figured one of them would just outspeed and one-shot Josephus, but I easily took out the whole gym leader's team with just confusion without going below half health. Can I just say that I extra hate that I can't just go to the east side of Sunny Shore due to the blackout in this run? There's an Electabuzz right past this guy, and if I could get it, I could easily breed it for a really solid baby Pokemon. Instead, I have to wait until just after the last Cyrus fight to get it. Right now I'm just chomping at the bit to finally get the Surf HM. Once we get that, we open up the ability to get tons of new baby Pokemon, with both Mime Jr. and Magby being ones that I desperately need since they have a fair bit better stats and way better moves than what we're using right now. I also wouldn't mind getting Fly just so I can check up on the Pokemon daycare without taking a bike ride through a bunch of grass to get there. I make my way to the Trophy Garden since that's where our next Pokemon will be. There are tons of babies here, but most of them only show up once you have the National Dex. Pichu is here though, so we add one to the team. Pichu is terrible, even by baby standards, but it gives us some much needed type coverage if he ever lands a hit. Considering Cyrus uses a lot of flying types, getting Pichu is pretty important. Amazingly though, I'll have to take it to the move reminder just to get Thunder Shock, since wild Pokemon only have the 4 most recent moves that they can learn by level up. Great, time to go get that. On our way though, I took the Helix Fossil. I knew that if I didn't say what I took, you'd all ask. Actually, now that I think about it, everyone ask anyway. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. I also hit up the daycare and get our Zurl egg. It's not water type as a baby, but it learns a few moves. After all that, we have another rival fight. Staravia took out Isaacs in one hit, although he's still very low level. Josephus does much better, mostly thanks to Staravia just using double team. I switched to Starks to deal with Buizel in one hit, and back to Josephus for Monferno with another one-shot. Last is Roselia and is part poison, so yet again it was a one-shot. Finally, an easy fight. Crusher wake time. Gyarados is double weak to electricity, but Isaacs hardly does anything with Thundershock in spite of that, and goes down quickly. Starks is out now, and I managed to paralyze Gyarados and start hitting Mega Drains to stay healthy. We're getting hit hard though. It takes forever, but thanks to some incredible paralysis luck, we take it out. Then we get finished in one Ice Fang from Floatzel. It also has Crunch, so there goes Josephus. That sucks, but we can always grind, so at least we'll make progress. Grinding here is a lot slower thanks to the game announcing every turn that it's raining, but at least it's not showing it. During the grind, the egg hatches and... oh, right. I forgot that the parents need to be holding sea incense for a Zurl. Well, Meryl looks more disappointed than me. Finally, after all that grinding, I try Crasher Wake again. This time, I pretty much just sweep through his team with Mega Drain after using Growth a few times. That took way longer than I was expecting. I thought this would be one of the easy gyms. Finally, I have to fight Cyrus before I can get Surf. Sneasel's first, and there isn't much I can use to deal with Ice and Dark types right now, so I just have Josephus cause an uproar. We do decent damage but go down. Starks manages to finish it with a Mega Drain, and next is Golbat, so I use Isaacs. Poison Fang instantly takes us to 11 health as we paralyze him from static and Thundershock him twice before going down. He's not even at half health yet though, and Starks is out. I use Growth since Golbat double resists Grass, but he has Air Cutter. We don't last long. A few levels later, and I lose even harder. Murkrow comes out that time and Drill Peck one-shot Starks, even with him being nearly level 50. This is really bad. I decide to go to the Solaceon Ruins to get the Odd Incense ahead of time since I'll need it for later, and I need a break from grinding. It boosts Psychic moves by 20% when held, so this will be good for Josephus for now. Finally, it's time for another try. I start by paralyzing Sneasel with Stun Spore first, although it drops our defense. We got a critical Mega Drain for a one-shot though, so that was lucky. This time we use Josephus to deal with Golbat. Bite hits us hard, but Confusion was a one-shot. Last is Murkrow, so I send out Isaacs, but we almost get taken out in one hit, before only doing half of its health and damage, then going down. Josephus gets hit incredibly hard, but Uproar finishes the fight. Now that the torture is over, we can finally get tons of way better quality baby Pokemon. Surf lets us get to tons of new places like Route 218, where I catch a male and female Mr. Mime. After giving one Odd Incense, I put them in the daycare. They actually need the incense to make a baby Pokemon. While we wait for an egg, we have more things to grab. Next I go to the Fuego Ironworks and... wow, that was fast, they have an egg already. Seriously, it's been 5 minutes. Now I go to the Fuego Ironworks to catch a female Magmar, and also grab the Rock Incense since I'll need that for another baby. After that I surf to Route 221 to catch a couple of Pseudo-Wudo. They can be given the Rock Incense and bred for another solid baby Pokemon. We should soon have a proper team. Right after that, the Megamars laid an egg. Man, they lay eggs fast in this game. I slap the Rock Incense on Sudowoodo and put them in the daycare. With that done, we can fight our rival. Staraptor instantly takes out Isaacs with Takedown, so I try for Josephus. We take massive damage from Takedown and Feint, but at least the recoil damage took out Staraptor. Heracross is next, but all we have is Starks and we're doing almost nothing, and he has Aerial Ace. Yeah, this is over. With that failure under our belt, I decide to just grind. We have 2 eggs and a third one on the way, and I need to hatch some of these things and level them up if we're going to want to progress. Partway into the grind, we finally get the last egg that we're going to need for a long while. Now to hatch him. A few minutes later and we get Mime Jr. He'll be replacing Josephus, so I name him Question Mark. Not only does he start with decent moves, but his move list of what he learns in the future has tons of high quality stuff. I start leveling him with experience share right away. A couple hours later and Magby hatches. I name him Murdoch. This is going to be the powerhouse for sure. Not only does he have some great moves like Confuse Ray and Fire Punch, but his ability is one of my favorites. Flame Body. Sometimes when he gets hit by a physical attack, the opponent gets burnt. Very shortly after is when Bonsley hatches. I name him Storm. Although his speed will always be bad, he's going to hit pretty hard and Rock type is pretty useful offensively. I figure it's rival time now that Question Mark is at a decent level, but to cut to the chase, it's still not time. Staraptor goes down, but we still can't beat Heracross. At least Question Mark is strong enough to grind with an experience share now, so I can save that for Murdoch and Storm. One eternity later and it's rival time. Question Mark one-shot Staraptor and Heracross. I switch to Starks or Floatzel and nearly one-shot it, but we hardly get hurt from Pursuit, and Poison Point's Poison finishes him, so his last sliver of health is gone. That was lucky. Back to Question Mark for Infernape, and we lose half our health to Flame Wheel, but we still get a one-shot thanks to a lucky crit. Last is Roserade, but is part poison, so I one-shot it with Psychic. Question Mark is exactly what we needed. With that finally done, I make my way to Iron Island where we can get our next Pokemon. After helping Riley with some double battles, he gives us an egg for a Pokemon that should help us a ton through the rest of the run. See if you can guess it. Let's make some progress. Steel Gym time. Magneton is a one-shot with Flamethrower, Steelix hangs on with a Sliver and hits a massive Earthquake for a one-shot. Byron heals Steelix with a full restore, so my Mega Drain can't finish it off, and I missed 2 Stun Spores in a row. This is bad. Third time's the charm though, and I was able to just hardly take it down without fainting. Bastiodon was last, and I hardly did any damage with Mega Drain, but at least I paralyzed him before I fainted. Question Mark wasn't hitting hard with Psychic, but at least I got lucky and dropped his special defense enough to get the knockout. Since we need strength to progress much farther, I just spent some time riding back and forth to get the egg to hatch faster. We're gonna need to start leveling it early, and there are trainers coming up to level on. After a while it hatches. This is Aldous, our new fighting type. It's going to probably be our heaviest hitter for physical attacks, so it's a great addition to the party. Now we just have to fight a bunch of Team Galactic commanders, but honestly none of them are hard, so I'll just skip ahead. Next is the Ice Gym, but now that Murdoch has Fire Blast, we absolutely demolish it in no time flat. Next challenge is the second from last Cyrus fight. Sneasel dropped our defense with Screech, but was a one-shot with Fire Blast. Crobat is second, so I had Question Mark try for Psychic. It did great damage, although we got messed up badly from a bite. Thanks to Crobat being faster, he was able to take the advantage after healing and finishing us off. I sent out Isaacs to finish him off, and thanks to Crobat missing Supersonic, Isaacs actually made something faint. Honchkrow is next though, and Thundershock did almost nothing. We took him to half health and a few hits, but Drillpeck made short work of us. I have Murdoch come out last and finish it with a Fire Blast. Unfortunately, I have to grind. To get to the top of Mount Coronet to fight Cyrus one last time, we need Surf and Rock Climb. That means we've got to replace a baby Pokemon with an HM Pokemon, so I won't have a full team for the fight. We need extra levels to make up for that for sure. I decide after a short grind that I'm just going to take my chances. This is a big gamble because if I can't beat Cyrus, it means that not only will I have to run all the way back to the top of Mount Coronet again, but I also need to do the entire Distortion World again. That would take forever. Let's hope for the best. I finally reach Cyrus, but I get demolished. Our Pokemon are roughly the same level as his, but his are fully evolved, so their stats are way higher. Plus, our type coverage isn't amazing. I'm gonna need to power level. I just spend a great deal of this grind in the northern routes of the game, mostly due to the types of Pokemon that hang out there being easier for my team to deal with. They're worth less experience, but at least there's a house to heal at nearby, so there isn't much downtime. Finally, after half a day of grinding, it's Cyrus time again. Houndoom goes down on one big Force Palm from Aldous, and I switch to Question Mark for Crobat. Psychic got us a much needed one-shot, and it's back to Aldous for Honchkrow. I taught him Rock Slide specifically for this fight, and it worked great, getting him to red health. Drillpeck did one-shot us though. Isaacs came out to finish it, but Cyrus used a full restore. We're actually faster now though, and I taught Isaacs Thunderbolt from a TM, so we took him out. Gyarados hung on with a Sliver though, and took Isaacs out with a Waterfall, so that was frustrating. I had Question Mark try and finish it, but yet again, a full restore was used. He ended up switching to Weavile mid-attack, so Psychic did nothing. I tried to Reflect, but got one shot first. Murdoch hits with a Flamethrower to take Weavile to a Sliver, and it ate a Berry to get into yellow health as it critically hit us, bringing us to 15 health. Our next Flamethrower finished it, and all he had left is Gyarados, so I kept Murdoch out and used Confuse Ray for safety. I didn't last long, but we did some damage. Last baby we have is Starks, and Mega Drain brings Gyarados down to a Sliver, as we nearly get taken out by Ice Fang, but through sheer luck, our Poison Point activates and finishes him off. With that done, we can finally get another Pokemon. I catch 2 Electabuzz and put them in the daycare. Isaacs is really falling behind, and we need a new Electric type badly. Thankfully, they lay an egg almost immediately. Now, there aren't really many trainers left in the game, so I just ride back and forth to hatch the egg early, since I don't have many chances to level up outside of grinding on wild Pokemon, and I want to avoid that as much as possible. Eventually it hatches and we get Elekid. I'm sure you guys remember from my Gen 2 Babies run, Elekid is much stronger than Pichu. Instead, it's about as strong as a Magby. Finally, it's time for the last gym. Jolteon couldn't have possibly gone better, with it missing 2 Iron Tails in a row, while Question Mark easily took it out. Raichu is second, and although it did some big damage with Signal Beam, 2 Psychics took it out. Luxray is third, so I just keep trying to outmuscle it, but the damage caught up, and Crunch took us out. Murdoch finished it off with Flamethrower. Electivire is last, so I go straight for the Fire Blast, and miss. We lose half our health to Thunder Punch and hit Fire Blast, but he eats a berry and ends up with half health as we get knocked out. I send a Starks knowing that it'll resist his attacks, so I can paralyze him with Stun Spore, hang on with almost no health from Giga Impact, and just use Mega Drain to try and do a little damage. I bring him to red, but he uses a full restore, is healthy again, and I miss Stun Spore and get KO'd by Fire Punch. This is really bad. Last of our proper leveled babies is Aldous, so I use Force Palm, get insanely lucky, fully paralyze him, and then finish him off. That was incredible. With that done, we just have to make our way through Victory Road and have one last rival fight before the Elite Four. We have to grind yet again, though. I need a strong electric type and Pichu just isn't cutting it. First is Staraptor, so I one-shot it with Thunderbolt from Rosa. I decide to keep her out for Snorlax so I can hit a low kick. Even with it being super effective and weight-based, it did less damage than I had hoped, and I got one-shot by Earthquake. Aldous ended up getting a lucky critical hit with Force Palm to finish it, and I switched to Question Mark for Infernape. Psychic was able to one-shot it as well as Heracross. I switched to Starks for Floatzel and get hit hard with Ice Fang, but Mega Drain does massive damage as well, and it heals us almost back to full health. Second Ice Fang leaves us with a quarter left as we take him out. Last is Roserade, so it's back to Question Mark for a one-shot with Psychic in the last rival fight. After that, though, I need to grind just a bit more. Let's take one last look at the team before we get to the Elite Four. I'm not really feeling confident. I think we're going to need to grind the team to around level 75 before I can beat the game, and even then, it's iffy. But at least it's worth a shot now since I'm low on time. Let me know in the comments if you think we can win or not. Let's do this. First is Bug Trainer Aaron. Yanmega is a one-shot with Rosa's Thunderbolt, as is Heracross with Question Mark Psychic, and Scizor with Murdoch's Flamethrower. It wasn't quite strong enough to one-shot Vespiquen, though, who hurt us a bit with Power Gem, although it's not too bad and we finish her off quickly after. Last is Drapion, and I always forget the type of this guy. It's Poison and Dark. Aldous hits a Force Palm for almost half of his health, and it paralyzes him. Then I follow up with a weak Rock Slide to try and keep him from landing in red, although he ends up eating a berry. A second Rock Slide drops him to the perfect amount as we faint, so I have Rosa easily finish it off with a Thunderbolt. Between fights, I heal up with Revives and Hyper Potions since they're allowed outside of battle. Second is Ground Trainer Bertha. She was pretty much just a sweep with Grass Knot though, not much to recap here. Third is Fire Trainer Flint. Houndoom is a much needed one-shot with Force Palm. Rapidash ended up going down to Psychic and Psybeam no problem since it only set up a sunny day, but Infernape is a beast. I tried for Psychic, but Infernape was faster and one-shot us with Flare Blitz. Aldous is out and Rock Slide did decent damage, but yet again we're one-shot with Flare Blitz. Rosa is out and uses a full restore on Infernape to deal with his recoil damage as we miss our first Thunder. Rosa's second Thunder hits though, and brings Infernape to a sliver, as we hardly hang on from Earthquake but go down to Mach Punch. We're getting messed up. Murdoch is somehow faster than Infernape though, and is able to finish it with Feint Attack, so next is Flareon. We hit Confuse Ray right off the bat, and its high attack means that it's hurting itself badly. Between that and Feint Attack, Flint had to use a full restore early. It hit us with a somewhat weak Quick Attack, but a couple more Feint Attacks and him hitting himself in confusion ended it. Last is Mega Mortar, so I use Confuse Ray again, and luck out. Feint Attack isn't doing much though, and we get nailed and paralyzed by Thunderbolt. A second one takes us down. Just Storm and Starks left, so I have Storm hit the Rock Slide for the win while Magmorta was charging for a Solar Beam that would have ended us. Fourth is Psychic Trainer Lucian. Mr. Mime goes down to one Feint Attack and we send out Rosa for Gallade. Rosa hits Thunder to take him to half health as we hardly hang on from Psycho Cut and land a second Thunder for the knockout. Bronzong is next and one Fire Blast is all it takes. Espeon is next, so I hit Confuse Ray and Feint Attack, but Psychics overtake us. I should have just used Feint Attack twice. Rosa finishes it with Thunderbolt. Last is Alakazam, so I have Rosa Thunder, but she misses and gets taken out. I send out Aldous hoping to paralyze him, but he's faster and critically hits us for a one-shot. Storm is next and we hang on from Energy Ball with only 6 health and hit a massive feint attack, but he uses full restore. We land another one though and critically hit for the win. Finally, it's Pokemon Champion Cynthia. We get destroyed though, mostly thanks to Garchomp. None of our team is able to learn ice moves, and we just can't overpower the thing. A little peek behind the curtain. This is actually my moving day right now, and I'm desperately trying to win this challenge right now. As in this day that I'm doing this part of the challenge, that I'm writing this, and even recording this voiceover. That's how much of a rush I'm in. Because I want the voiceover to sound good, and I won't have sound foam to remove the echo in the new place yet. If I had more time, I'd power level even higher, but I don't have the time, so I'm just aiming for level 80. It took me almost 6 hours, but we finally got up to level 80. Time to try again. First is Murdoch versus Spiritomb, so I hit Fire Blast and Flamethrower to take it out without getting too hurt. Second is Melodic, so I have Rosa try for Thunder, miss, lose half her health to Surf, then one-shot her with another Thunder. Finally is Garchomp though, so Aldous is out and we Force Palm it for a bit of damage and hardly hang on from Earthquake. A second Force Palm makes her eat a berry as she takes us out. Question Mark hits Psychic and leaves Garchomp with a Sliver as we dropped only 19 health off one hit, and she uses a full restore. We're faster though, so 2 Psychics take it out, mostly thanks to it dropping her special defense. Locario is next and I send out Murdoch and it's a one-shot with a Fire Blast. Togekiss is next, so Rosa hits Thunder for a one-shot. Last is Roserade and Question Mark manages to one-shot it with Psychic, winning us the entire run. Man, that challenge was a lot harder than I was expecting. I thought the wide variety of Pokemon I could use would make this easier, but so many battles required ungodly grinds, and I was on a real-time crisis. I'm not sure what I'm going to do for next Saturday's Pokemon Challenge, but as always, I'm looking at your suggestions in the comments and on Twitter. Subscribe, ring the bell, and stay tuned. If you want to see me do more challenges like this, please let me know in the comments or on Twitter. I can always use more ideas from you guys on what I should do next. Also, check out the playlist in the description to watch all of the Pokemon challenges that I've already uploaded. If you guys want to see more Pokemon stuff from me, my friend Whatageek and I are doing a Gen 1 randomizer over on his channel, linked in the description. Also, come to my Twitch TV streams and tell me that this video sent you. It's always cool to hear how you found the channel. Thank you everybody so much for watching, and until next time, have a nice day.